Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake the fuck up. This is WTFU with your hosts, Thomas Horazzo, Gizo, and Chantel London. Staying woke from the US to the UK.
What up? What up? It's Tom Horazzo.
Yo, Gizo in the house, you know what I'm saying?
All right, Gizo, just fresh off of vacation, man.
It wasn't really no vacay, it was a staycay, you know.
You went out of state. You know what I'm saying? That counts for something.
It's a tri-state, so it's not really out of state.
Oh, so you still in your
still in the cipher, still in the madness, but no, it was country, you know, Six Flags with the safari. Felt like it was in Africa and Australia, you know, it was seeing the animals.
So you felt like you were in the motherland. Did you feel that vibe? Like, yo, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Got the giraffes licking the top of the you know, we was like in some Jurassic Park type truck, and you know, saw the rhinos, the lions. It was cool getting that close to nature. You know, you don't get that close to those big animals on a daily basis. You know.
True.
Chantel from London.
Good evening, everyone. I love that you had a lovely little cross-country staycation, Gizo. You felt like you was in the motherland, in the tri-state.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. You know, it was cool. You know, now back to the grind. You know, my homie out there in Italy. Shout out to my homie June. You know, out there in Rome, about to go to Venice and shit. It was a bridge that actually collapsed out there like earlier today. Like 30 people died. You know, talking about infrastructure. I had to check on them, but you know they were good. So, you know that was a good thing to hear. But yeah, I gotta travel a whole lot more. But yeah, so what's going on, team? What's going on?
It's nothing much, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, you know, I kind of want to jump into it, but you know, we're all good here. Oh, I caught my first fish this weekend. You know what I'm saying? I threw them back though. I wasn't really feeling them, but you know what I'm saying?
What you caught?
It was a freaking what do we call them? It's a sea robin. You know what I'm saying? In England they call them gurnards, Chantal. I don't know if you're into fish at all. Gurnard, something like that. But apparently they're big in Europe. A lot of people, European people, like these sea robins or gurnards, as they call them.
How big is it?
I've never heard of that fish in my life.
Maybe there's another name, freaking. But you know what's funny is they're kind of considered trash fish over here in the U.S. by a lot of people, but I hear in Europe that they're really popular. You know, the problem is breaking them down. You know what I mean? Like basically gutting them or whatever.
Yeah,
they got these wings on them, and it's like a lot of cartilage and bone. And,
shit.
But once you get through that, you can get a couple nice fillets off of them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
What how big is it? Like
this was about 12 inches. He was kind of fat. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't feel like keeping him. Yeah. You know, maybe next time I'll keep him or whatever. I'm starting to get into the whole thing. But anyways, all right, yeah. Since we got a couple, let's see here, what we got on the agenda. And thanks for joining us, guys, in the chat room. Salute to the Hun Gang. Salute to Rich. Salute to everybody. Yeah, we got to talk. So let's see here. Boom. We wanted to start off with a feel-good story. You know, me and Gizo, sometimes we're like doom and gloom. You know, so Chantel, you kind of bring that sunshine, you know, into our lives here. But you're always finding the good stories that, you know, that freaking motivate. So we wanted to start off with that, and it's a story about this young man, Reggie Wilson. You kind of want to set us up on that one?
Yeah, so a story came out about a young, tenacious man who wants to be successful in his life. So he took it upon himself to knock on the doors of successful people on a particular wealthy street in London to basically find out what are the keys to success. Like, you're rich and you're wealthy and you live in this really exclusive area. Can you tell me, can you show me, can you help me become who you are? And it is a really, you know, feel good story, and it demonstrates a young man coming out of his comfort zone, you know, coming away from his circle, and really being driven and really being ambitious in life. And I think sometimes we create this box around us mentally where it's like, you know, we might look at people and think, you know, we can't be like them, we can't access wealth like them, we can't achieve what they've achieved. And sometimes we just got to ask the right people the right question. It's not that simple, of course. I feel like it's not like every young black boy can now go to like the wealthiest street in London, knock on doors and expect to get answers and expect to get opportunities. It's not going to be that easy, but it's just a really good opportunity and example of how sometimes you have got to step out there, be practical, and, you know, just really put what you want in life into action. You can sit down and you can, of course, you can pray, you can think about, you can write down ideas, but it's a lot about who you know and networking. And I feel like through that effort, he has had that opportunity through luck, through knocking on the right doors. And now, you know, he's growing and building as a young man, a young black man, and setting the example for other young black people as well.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the piece. It's about 4.5 minutes long, just so that everybody could take it in, you know, and kind of, you know, get the visual on what we're talking about here.
So I was sitting in college at the time and I said to myself, how can I do something different? What can I do different enough for me to see results that no one else will think of doing? An idea came to my head to go and knock on people's doors and ask them what skills and qualities they had to become so wealthy so that I can extrapolate that and use that for myself. The pitch when I knocked on people's doors was, my name is Reggie, I'm from East London. I came to Kensington and Chelsea because I researched that this is the wealthiest area in the UK, and I just wanted to know what skills and qualities you had that allowed you to live in a wealthy area like this so that I can extrapolate that and use that for myself.
Hi,
hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. You okay? So I went down a private street, the second door I knocked on. A lady speaks through the intercom. She opens the door, invites me in. As we were speaking, a gentleman walked through the room. That guy was Quinton Price. At the time, Quinton was the head of Alpha Strategies at BlackRock.
First thing I started thinking about was, all right, well, let me think about how will I go into work tomorrow. I can organise for him to get some work experience.
I got there so early. I was the first one there. I think I got there like an hour early just so I can build a good impression. It was amazing to see how many bright young people there were. But even before I got there, I didn't know you could get A stars in A level. I thought it was just A was the maximum. But then these guys were telling me, I got 3 A stars and 4 A stars. And they would ask me, oh, what grade did you get in college? I was like, oh, I'm still in college. I haven't finished yet. And that's when I realized I'm actually the youngest person here. And these guys are all undergraduates. And from that day, it really altered my mind and changed the perspective I saw things. And that's when I realized, you know what, something's definitely gonna come off this, and it surely has. Afterwards, I had a meeting with my mum, Quinton. He would advise me to go to university because it'll give me the best shot to work in the financial services. I will never forget, there was one thing I heard that still resonates with me now, which was, if you want to see different results, you have to come out your comfort zone and see something different. Yeah. Even on my internship, there was 9,000 applicants, 115 of us got it, only 3 black people. On my floor right now, I'm the only black person on my floor. So it's hard, I understand where you're coming from, it's hard. So when you see a black person, it's like, we just be friends, we just be friends. So, in the corporate sector, I am a minority, and I won't hide it, I am a minority. Like, even where I work, there's diversity, but it like in every corporate environment I've been to, it can be a lot better. So I guess playing the game for me is just adapting to the surroundings around me. I wouldn't say it's conforming, but just adapting to the surroundings around me so that you can, I guess, make the biggest impact and make it the biggest difference that you can. Mum, I'm going to work. See you later. Bye.
Bye, take care.
In any hyper-competitive environment where you're a minority, you have to play the game to a higher level in order to prevail, because you're educating people to overcome their ignorance and their prejudices. And those prejudices exist. We wish they didn't, but they do. And so where they exist, I think it's incumbent upon all of us, both those of us who are lucky enough to be in the majority and those who are in the minority but have an opportunity to prove the naysayers wrong. and to set an example to the next generation that makes this a more equal society. We see it all around us, and the more people like Reggie there are, the faster we'll get to the right place.
So I would say embrace the rejections, because I guess they make for a better story, and through that you're just going to be able to inspire and help a lot more people. So I would say don't take the no's as gospel. Use it and embrace it, and use it as like the petrol for you to get through to wherever you need to be.
All right, so we had a chance to watch the video.
Yes, and as I mentioned earlier, I just feel like it's an example of a young person who is using their initiative and who's been tenacious in actually going for something. And it's a great narrative, right? Because the media likes to always spin certain narratives about young people being, thugs, or being aggressive, or being lazy, or not being able to occupy opportunities. And here's a young boy, a young black boy who could be stereotyped in many different ways, who's actually took it upon himself and been brave, because it's a brave thing to do, to go to the richest area, a predominantly white area, and knock on the door.
Right.
I don't think any of us would just go and knock on a stranger's door. We wouldn't even knock on our neighbor's door for a cup of sugar for the most part. You're not going to go on a train or a bus, go to an area that you're not familiar with to try and seek advice. Now, we can get advice from so many different sources. We can read books, we can go online, but sometimes the best advice is actually talking to people who are doing exactly what it is that you want to do. And like I said, this is not going to work for everyone, but it's a way for people to be inspired so that they can find a way to gain access to the resources that they need in a way that befits their own ambition and what they want to achieve in life, I guess. So
right, and you mentioned with the courage aspect is important. Like Gizo was just saying, if he walks up to on Fifth Ave or whatever, Madison, and tries to go to someone's house and say, how did you get here? How did you do? He first off, he's probably not gonna make it through the door, right?
Yeah, basically, you know what I mean? You really can't do stuff like that in those areas. I mean, now I know there's some places where I can probably go and knock on the rich, wealthy people's doors, and maybe get a response like this guy did. But it'll be a lot of door knocking, and you just gotta hope that they don't call the cops on you, because first of all, they're gonna be like, what are you doing knocking on these people? We got reports of somebody, and they calling the cops on black folks nowadays just for being black. We can't
right.
barbecue.
You just eating, right? You're a student at Yale eating your damn lunch, and someone calls the cops to say she doesn't look like she belongs here.
Yeah, it's like stupid.
Yeah,
shit.
so salute to you, flat bastard Stacy. We appreciate it. Yeah, but and then I started to think about it a little more. Also, I want to put out the the kind of, I hate to be the pessimist here, but a lot of us people who are not wealthy and millionaires have to understand that, at least in the United States, that most wealthy people inherited their money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing is, we don't see those. Those people aren't on TV every day, right?
Exactly.
The Zuckerberg, right? Zuckerberg, the what's his name? Zuckerberg
From the Facebook?
Yeah, from Facebook.
He didn't inherit it? I thought he just hit it.
No, he didn't inherit his money, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
although he was, his family wasn't poor either. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I didn't know that.
They're not on that Drake, even though Drake is still questionable, in my opinion, as far as starting from the bottom. But, what's his name? Zuckerberg can't say he started from the bottom. Maybe he started from the middle, upper middle. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, now he's crazy wealthy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, and near where I work, I work in Stamford, which is near Darien, Connecticut.
Yeah.
A lot of that money is old money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly,
saying? Connecticut, and I think I may have mentioned this on air before, Connecticut is like the second. We're like the second state for having billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Billionaires. Yeah, second or third. You know what I mean? New York's like number one. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many. Obviously, you got California, New York, and I think Connecticut might be the third. You know what I mean? You're not seeing these cats from Connecticut. I think we have 7 billionaires who live in Connecticut. You're not seeing these cats on TV. These freaking billionaires. You know what I'm saying?
Need to donate some money to the damn state. Get them out the red.
Actually, a couple of them have actually moved. There was one guy maybe 2 years ago. He's like, yo, the tax is too high in Connecticut. He's like, I have no reason to live in Connecticut anymore. I can live anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to live. I don't have to be right next to New York City anymore. My money makes money. His money makes money when he's sleeping.
Yeah, that's what I was, yeah, there's a lot of, I heard about the property taxes and state taxes. It's crazy.
But yeah. I'm sorry, Chantel. I just wanted to kind of just cap off on this point is that we don't always have to necessarily knock on have to go to the wealthiest area. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't have to aim as high. Now, I'm glad that this kid did aim high, and it looks like things are working out for him. But we can go to the guy who owns a business around here. Say if it's a guy who just owns a car wash, and the car wash is pumping.
Yeah, I think you make a good point, Tom, and I just want to go back to a point that Giza made a second ago as well. So, Giza, you was talking about the fact that, maybe in the States, you can't necessarily just go and knock on the doors of wealthy people, but that doesn't stop you from, picking up the phone or sending an email. Now, for the most part, you're going to pick up the phone and make a phone call, and you may not be able to get access to the right person. You might send an email and you may not get a response. But if you send 100 emails, 200 emails, 300 emails, if you make 100 calls, 200 calls, 300 calls, if you send tweets, if you reach out to them on social, you're probably going to get a response because that's just probability. So this is just an example of what can be done. And like I said, this is not necessarily the blueprint. Like every young black boy should go to the richest area, whether it's in the UK or US, and knock on the doors. Like, I wouldn't advise that. I wouldn't do that myself, but it might inspire people to say, you know what? Yeah, maybe let me even call up my uncle that I haven't spoken to in 10 years. Or yeah, why don't I just go to the shop owner down the street who has a successful business on my block for how many years and talk to them, because sometimes we just need to talk to the right people. So I feel like that might just encourage people, because we live in a society now where a lot of us don't even know how to ask questions. We don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to ask for help. We don't know how to seek advice, especially from those who are doing it. Like, we can have conversations amongst ourselves, like, how can we be wealthy? How can we be rich? None of us are in that position. But if we can talk to someone who is in that position, then we can get some advice from them. And again, it might not be the best fit for us, but it might give us just a little bit for us to kind of hang on to. We can kind of build off of that. So that's why I think these kind of examples all add to our own journey and our own narrative in seeking our own purpose, right, and getting our own wealth in life. That's what I would say.
No, and yeah, I wish I had that type of tenacity when I was younger to say, hey, sir, how can I be like you? You know what I'm saying? Freaking, how can I get, one time I remember when I was working at McDonald's, I actually did ask, I asked the wrong question, right? A guy pulls up in a Range Rover. At this time in the late 90s, those Range Rovers were all the rage, right? Every rapper, Jay-Z, had it in the video, the 4.0, motor in it, the 8-cylinder, I believe it was. And, what did I ask him? I asked him, sir, how much does this car cost? Like on a per month, how do you, and he was nice enough to tell me, that basically at the end of the day, he was paying about $1,000 a month, all told. I forget if he had a lease or not, but again, look at me being young and stupid. I asked him, how much is the car? I should have said, how do I get to a point where I can afford a car like that? Yeah. Right, so it's all about having the courage. Obviously I had enough courage to ask a stranger, at my job in a drive-through, how much his car costs, which is somewhat of a personal, right? You're getting into the guy. I'm getting into the guy's finances. You know what I mean? And I asked him all the wrong questions. I should have said, sir, how can I get in a situation like you? But I've learned since.
You asked him how you get a cheeseburger or some shit.
What I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I got the hookup.
Yo, I got a 10-second quiz for y'all. Y'all talking this what dude played in a movie where, just like what you said, the dude, he asked the dude what he pulled up in the car. He's like, yo, what do you do? How did you get this car? What movie is that? Real quick, 10 seconds.
The Joint with Will Smith.
Yeah, but what is it though?
18 pounds.
He said 18, that was 7 pounds. Yeah. Come on, Chantel, you got it.
I don't know.
Nah, it's a good movie. It's kind of sad, but it's real. The Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh yeah, that's a long one.
Pursuit of Happiness, of course. Yeah. I was gonna say that. I was on the tip of my tongue to say that actually.
Yeah, yeah. You wasn't thinking that. Nah, that was a good movie. It's true story. He played actually the dude that that really it happened to, where he had his son the whole time. Exactly. That he was sleeping in train stations with his son. I remember one time it was a sad part of the movie where he was sleeping in a train station in the bathroom with his son, and some guy was trying to get into the bathroom, and he was like holding the door closed, and the guy was just banging on the door like, yo, and he was just like, because they was like living in the homeless, like, it was crazy. It was just that shit. If that shit don't motivate you, excuse my language. If that movie doesn't motivate you, I don't know what else can.
Oh
motivate
yeah,
you.
guys, help us out too. We're trying to curse a lot less. So we want to start off with the F word. So if those and Chantel, you can help us out too. When you hear any of us say the F word, please just mark the time in the chat room if you can.
Oh yeah.
That when we say just post the time. You know
I just said the S word.
Yeah.
You know.
Now we got to start off slow because
Okay,
last week when I was editing the audio, and I think between me and you we must have dropped at least 40 F bombs. I mean, we were dropping on the top of each other like effing F this, and I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? And you know, again, you know, like me and Jizo have talked about, you know, we're doing this, you know what I'm saying? Obviously we want to put the word out, you know, express ourselves, and we want this to be something that our kids can listen to, you know, when they're grown, and not say, damn, you know.
And actually, my daughter was listening to it.
Yeah,
like
your daughter was actually listening to
the last part of it. You know,
and she missed the stuff that you said. And I'm the one who wind up getting, you know, flagged. But it's all good. But oh, actually, so one more note on Reggie. I just hope that he remembers where he came from. You know, it looks like he has a humble. You know what I'm saying? That he came up from a humble beginning, and I'm just hoping that he doesn't turn into a. I hate to even call her name out because we're not really gonna be talking about her, but
Omarosa.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know her upbringing. She may have grown up middle class, right? Or you know, I don't even know the word. You know what I'm saying? Freaking, but just wealthier than the average, you know, black person in America. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's part of the disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Why she because now she wants to come back home. Oh, I was looking out for my people. Now I know he's a racist because he used the N-word. Excuse me, lady. If a guy, yo, he threw the kitchen sink, everything but the damn kitchen sink, which is the N-word at people of color. But since you now heard the audio, like, and so I'm just hoping that this guy, when he's up, and he said, and I give the kid credit, this Reggie Wilson, right, in the UK, he said, I want to get other people of color into the financial sector. You know, that's bringing my people up, not this fake shit that's going on now. Oh, I'm just trying to look out for my people. It's like, lady, you're just looking out for number one. Don't try to freaking act like you're putting black people on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Freaking and trying to help them out and represent them in the White House. You trying to represent your own effing pockets. And that's why with this book that's coming out right now, I'm not giving it not even one chance.
Yeah,
you know, if she's got audio, don't get me wrong. I'll listen to the audio. You know what I mean? Because the audio's the audio. You know what I'm saying? She can't make that. But
yo, she better be careful, man. Like Chris Rock brother was saying, yo, she taping this dude and supposedly got all this audio on him. He might just
put the hit out.
Yo,
she gonna come up missing. I'm not advocating that, obviously, but it's a dangerous game she's playing.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on Reggie? Because this is kind of going to spill into what Jizo wants to get into, which is, well, I basically have it categorized, titled as wealth creation.
Yeah, wealth creation.
So
stagnation.
My final thought is that, you know, we have to take control of our own life. We cannot rely on others to do it for us. We can't just wait for opportunities to land in our lap. We have to think creatively. We have to be innovative in order to make these opportunities happen. And as a young man, like we said, for him to be doing that from early, and it's not even like he went with a friend, like he picked up himself, which would have probably actually been worse, but he went on his own to do this. So he had the courage. And I think if we want to get somewhere in life, sometimes we need to be courageous. And if one way doesn't work, we need to try another way, but take learnings from whatever didn't work for us as well. So that's all I would say on the back of that. And I'll try and keep coming with the good news most weeks.
And I'll keep, you know, bringing the depression shit up. Real quick, salute to Cliff Bravo, John Paul Shelton, London Taylor. Thanks for being with us. So, Jizo, wealth creation. Now, I've been on, you know, I send Jizo these videos from Antonio Moore. Antonio Moore is kind of a, you know, he's an associate of Yvette Carnell. I really like the way and I actually like Yvette Carnell as well, even though I've got some issues, and we're going to be talking about that in the future with her. But, you know, I like how Antonio Moore, and he's all about, you know, trying to let us know where black wealth is going. You know what I'm saying? And I always shoot them to you, Jizo, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And again, the reason I don't just send it to you because you're the closest black person in my proximity. When I look at this stuff, I understand that Hispanics are right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just looking at like, damn, black people are really effed up. I'm glad I'm not in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Or me and my people aren't in that situation. I look at it, you know, so I watched the video for me, but obviously, you know what I'm saying, I know you're interested in that, and you wanted to talk about that today.
Yeah, I mean, that and this guy named Dave Ramsey, but since you know, I'll talk about Antonio Moore first, where he was talking about, which I never really knew about, that Diallo chart that kind of shook me up, because I'm like, wow, he was showing that basically the black families basically at, you know, the bottom 10% of the 90% that's, you know, first you got the 1% of the world, that's the billionaires, and then you got maybe the 10% of the world that's like multi-millionaires, high six-figure, 100,000-aires, and then in the 90% you got everybody that's making less than that, you know, and I guess in your 70s and 60s, 50s, and lower. And when he said black families are at the bottom 10%, in another 30 years, when, you know, Tom and I were talking about this like 3-4 months ago, like in another 30, 40 years, even though the United States is going to be the majority of, no, let me correct that. Brown skinned people are it's going to be like what?
A minority majority.
Minority majority. We're still going to be dead broke unless we make these trends reverse themselves. And it's just first of all, you have to know the facts. Like, so basically the facts is that we're getting broker by the day, which is, you know, sad. And, you know, we have to start, you know, getting unstagnated, trying to make it. I don't know the solution, because it's so many different solutions that, you know, I could come with, but not within this half hour that we have left. So it's just the fact that he brought it to me, and I'm glad he did, because I'm trying my best not to be a statistic and, you know, and go into the night being like one of those families, because it's really messed up to think that opportunity, like they said, you know, you were saying earlier, people that mostly are wealthy get it handed down to them from you know, inheritance. And like you say, you don't know about them. They just rich as you know what, or wealthy as you know what, and they just live their lives, and, you know, probably got a jet. You know, these rappers talk about flying in G5s, and they probably got like 3 G5s or 5 G5s, and you don't even know about it because they're not trying to be in the limelight.
Or are they smart enough to understand that owning a jet is not going to do anything to make them any money? So they're flying. Exactly. How many times you?
Unless you rent it out. I know this guy that I work with, you know, the guy that I told you be playing, you know, he basically, he gets people that have corporate jets, and just like limousine rides, he rents, I guess he gets the jet under contract, and then he like finds corporate people, because you think about all these corporate people are going to meetings, you know, they need jets to get to these meetings, so he does some deal where he gets these people to get on these jets, and I guess they're kind of like co-share the jet, and I don't know how they do it. I guess it's just like taking an Uber pool. They get in the jet and like, hey, you going to New York? Hey, I got to go to New York too. Instead of paying $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 for a one-way flight, I guess they split it up. But yeah, that's the only way you could probably make money off a jet, if you rent it out and let people use it like a taxi jet, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, go what you saying.
No, you know, I think a lot of wealthy people also, though, are smart enough to say, you know what, I can fly coach, you know what I'm saying? I can fly first class when I need to, and not really, you know, because a lot of it is about opulence. You know, there's actually a show that I tune to every once in a while, but it's so crazy that I can't even take maybe a half hour of it. But it's called Selling Jets. It's on one of these channels that I got over here, where these family, you know, it'd be like a wife and husband. Oh, I know, and the wife is checking out. Oh, I love this. The kids could be like playing over here while I like lay down on the couch. You're talking about a $10 million jet. You know what I'm saying? And dude is sitting there thinking about it like, I don't even know if I really need this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and
that's crazy.
And they're just doing it. And a lot of it is about, you know, opulence. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I want to be.
Yo, man, keep using that word, man. Stop trying to front over here, yo. Let me Google that shit. Excuse me.
Opulence is basically, you know, here's the translation: stunting. Opulence is straight stunting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Salute to Mills Lane. Thanks for joining us. Mac J. Adams. I don't know if I saluted you. Thanks, sir. Yeah, so again, so about spending money, right, recklessly, and that's the thing, you know. And I was listening to salute to Rich and Jamaria, and unfortunately Jamaria is not going to be on the morning show, but just like Rich says, you know, we're all thankful for her service, you know. So I'm listening to the show last night, and of course, you know, toward the ends they got, and this is Monday. Keep in mind, this is Monday's show. I'm always a day behind, you know, and the subject of the NFL got brought up, right? You know what I mean? And I just question our boycotting power. You know what I'm saying? Like, because basically the message was we need to use our economics to improve our political situation. Yeah. You know, some of our social issues that we have. But now I'm starting to wonder, do we have enough wealth, you know what I'm saying, amongst the community to make a dent? You know what I mean? Like with the bus boycott, when I think back, you know, to Alabama, the bus boycott, that was a small situation. They really, and plus there were so many black people that used the bus, you know what I mean? And it took a year. Keep in mind, it took a year of not riding the bus to force the hand of the bus company to say, okay, you know, black people can sit wherever the hell they want, like everybody else. You know what I mean? Now I wonder, you know, do we have enough wealth to even make a dent in the NFL? If all of us didn't watch and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be watching the game this year at all. I only watched the Super Bowl last year, but I'm not going to watch anything this year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But I wonder if that will even make a dent in their pockets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, it's crazy because, you know, Joe Madden talked about boycott, and then so like you said, the wealth. Well, you was talking about the NFL, but you know, like they say, the black or the African Americans, how you want to say it, they have like, what is it, $1 trillion spending? Like it's like some crazy like amount of money that we spend, but we don't keep it in our communities. So I'm trying to figure out a way that we could boycott. What could we boycott that would affect a company that would really hit home to America? Like I don't know, like there's so many companies out there. I mean, that they would be like, you know what, this is really putting a strain. Let's like, I don't know. I would have to take some building because
I feel like if we were willing to sacrifice something, we could boycott anything. Like we could even say, let's boycott an electricity firm and not use electricity. Now, majority of people could be like, oh, I need electricity, when actually, really, we want electricity, right? We could get by without electricity for a day, 2 days, 3 days, if we organized ourselves, if we prepared ourselves. You know, look how many millions of people around the world get by without electricity. There's countries that experience power cuts all the time, but they find a way to get by. So I feel like if we really wanted to put a dent in, you know, any kind of monetary organization, we could do, but we would need to be organized. We need to come together, and we'd all need to do it. No point in some of us doing it and some other people saying, no, I can't be bothered. I need my electricity. I want to watch my soaps. I need to be able to cook. I need to be able to have my hot water, whatever the case is. I need to be able to use my phone, internet. We'd all have to say, we're going to take this sacrifice. It's going to be a challenge, but we could do it. And I think we could do anything if we put our mind to it. We could all stop using our cars if we really put our mind to it and said, no, we're not going to drive for a week.
We really have to sacrifice. Jess Var, what up?
Big time.
Thanks for joining us. But you know what, man? Maybe we'll, as far as us, now we use a lot of electricity here at WTF.
That's hard, right?
So you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to start recording, you know what I'm saying, the WTFU on my boombox using batteries. And then we'll send the tapes to everybody, you know what I'm saying, for distribution.
Yo, I mean, I see what you're saying, Chantel, but on another note, like, I think it would have to be something that, like, okay, like the NRA, they support these right-wingers and stuff like that. I know Tom's an NRA instructor, but some kind of company that's affecting the minorities, that's, like, against, you know, that's, you know, that Trump is for. I hate to keep saying Trump, but he's hurting a lot of minority communities, you know, so it's like something that it has to be a company that's helping Trump, that Trump wants to, like, that we use at, you know, that we don't probably think about. And there's so many companies out there that, you know, like when I was looking at that documentary, The 13th Amendment, that for instance, like Victoria's Secret and Macy's, they were supporting like these private jails and stuff like that. But you know, you won't really know it until you do the research. So you have to do the research to find out. Okay, it could be like a simple company like I don't know, like Carvel ice cream. You know, they might support some Duke, like Trump, you know, shit, or I don't know, like, you know what I'm trying. That's like you got to find companies that's not with what they don't want you to grow. They like, okay, well, nobody's gonna know. I'm just gonna support like that. What's that bill that it's some bill that I'm gonna have to do the research on that. It's a bill that a lot of these companies out there, they were supporting, and it was a bill that basically it has something to do with these privatization of jails. I can't remember the name of it, and I don't want to sit here all night and try to scrape my brain. So
John Paul Shelton says I should use a generator. What's funny is I have one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I actually, because, a couple years ago, man, we were having, like, with these storms, these winter storms, we were losing power a lot in Connecticut. Now, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, I'm not trying to wait, you know what I'm saying? Because some of my coworkers was losing power. They had no power for 2 weeks. I'm like, and they didn't live that far away from me. So I'm like, man, hold up, man. Let me get on Amazon real quick, cop this generator. Yeah, so I'm good. I'm waiting for the long blackout, you know what I mean? But yeah, and then you see that shit in Puerto Rico. That shit was crazy, but
oh yeah, that shit. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So, Chantel, are we ready to move on?
Yeah, I was just that day. I mean, that Dave Ramsey thing that he.
Someone mentioned it in the group, Tom. Someone was asking when we was talking about it. Yeah.
Oh, the MGTOW. Yeah, we getting around to it.
Oh yeah. Real quick, the Dave Ramsey shit. I mean stuff. Yo, Dave Ramsey is this guy on YouTube. You know, you probably saw him, right? Did you ever see Dave?
I think I heard of his name, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think I've ever seen his videos, though.
Yeah, you know, basically, I guess he's a financial advisor or just, you know, something like that. And he sounded like he's like a little extreme with stuff. But basically, he was saying that people in America, if you put away $100 a month, mind you, this is over a period of 40 years, in like a Roth IRA, with like a mutual fund thing that, you know, returned on average 12% a year. He said that you could retire a millionaire, at least 1.1 million, you know, and he was saying that he's like, you could, and he said it in a funny way. He was like, yo, people, like, he was talking about people that make like 50,000, and some people in this country that's sad that don't get up to 50,000 a year, which is crazy. But he was saying that you could be a loser in this country. That's how dynamic the economy is, and still retire a millionaire. He was like, and I was looking at it like that. You know, that's crazy. You never think of it like that. But what country? I don't know about the other, you know, economies in other countries if you could do that. You know, but you probably can. I mean, to make 50,000 a year, I mean, that's probably like, you know, that's entry level for a lot of college. Like if you go to college, a lot of people come in entry level, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. But some people are out there coming in this country making less than 50. But I mean, it's hard. I mean, you can do it, you know, because a lot of people don't they don't have all these, you know, some people call it necessities, but other people might say that's a luxury. Like you say, like we got the AC on and the boom, in the audio, you know what I'm saying? But some people might say, yo, we don't need AC. We can just blow the fans, you know, drink water, pour water on your head, get a cold towel, you know. So some people might look at that as a luxury, and other people might say it's a necessity. I think it's a necessity because I live on the top floor and it'd be hot as, you know, what up there. But, you know, certain things that he was saying that basically, what you spend $100 on a month, people go to Target. He was like, yeah, Mr. Cable or Mr. Latte Breath. Like some people spend $100 on stuff. You know, you go to Target. You know, you might go to the clubs. You might have a gambling habit. I mean, it's an exercise. It's like, you know, you got to exercise your pockets. Like, yo, all right, 100. Just, you know, like I guess you have like an account that it just goes to. You don't even notice it. You know, I know Tom got like 5 of those accounts. You know, he over there like, yeah, I know you talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, man, don't be putting my money out there, man.
Yeah, basically, you can retire. You don't have to. What he's trying to say, you don't have to depend on the government. Like a lot of people, like, well, I hope the government comes with a company that has a good pension. Those days are gone. Like these companies ain't giving a f about you. They not trying to do no pensions for people. Like, you know, if you get a good city job and you work for 20 years, you know, yeah, then you could get a pension. But in the tri-state, you can't live off just a retired pension. You're going to have to work more. You know, you're going to have to go down south with that or go way up in the mountains in Connecticut or New York upstate to live off a pension. So, you know, you still got old people that's 60 working at McDonald's. So you see where this world is at. You know, like they don't care. Like, yo, work. If you didn't plan properly when you was younger, you're going to pay when you older. That's all it is. You know, if you want to go out here and ball till you fall, you're going to fall. You know what I'm saying?
All right. There it is.
There it is.
Real quick, if you guys haven't seen the second part of me and Mr. Gene Richmond's and young Hassan, the chat that we had a few weeks ago, the second part's out. You can catch that on Couch Talk. What is it? My bad. Couch Talk podcast. Couch Talk TV. It's the Couch Talk TV podcast. You know what I'm saying? There's a kind of a mouthful there, but you guys can can check the second part out. Hopefully it's a little more entertaining than the first part. You know, and I think we may be getting together actually this Thursday to do some other stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe, geez, I'm thinking of throwing you in there, man. I think you would also represent.
You don't want to throw me in there,
WTFU. You know what I'm saying? As well. I think you could do it just as probably better than me. Well, let's see here.
I hear Cliff Bravo. He said, "Nah, I need my AC." Yeah, I feel you on that, Cliff. You know what I'm saying? I need that AC too, because AC is like.
AC is life sometimes.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It'd be hot in the house sometimes outside, because you know. But yeah, that's a whole nother story.
So now I want to transition over to just kind of make a big leap here, because you know I know London Taylor is pumped about this. So is Chantel, but you know this is something, and I'm flashing it on the screen now. MGTOW, right? That's kind of how I've heard people say it. MGTOW, right? Men going their own way, and this is the definition that I got from a website called MGTOW.com. Men going their own way is a statement of self-ownership where the modern man preserves and protects his own sovereignty above all else. It is a manifestation of one word, no, ejecting silly preconceptions and cultural definitions of what a man is looking to, and no one else for social cues. Excuse me, I got a little lost here too. No one else for social cues. Refusing to bow, serve, and kneel for the opportunity to be treated like a disposable utility. And you're not supposed to start sentences with "and," but all right. And living according to his own best interests in a world which rather he didn't. What's weird is that, you know, I first got onto, and this is a small niche thing. Many of you guys in the chat room may have not have heard of this yet, and I got it. I found it through going through the YouTube rabbit hole. You know, and I've been watching some videos because I've been hitting the weights lately. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get a little strong for the Civil War that's coming. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be right. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like Jadakiss said, out of shape, but I make sure that my gun is healthy. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, you know, I got to make sure that my guns, you know what I'm saying, meaning my arms and you know my big muscle groups are strong as well. But so, you know, I'm watching these videos, and there's a lot of experts on YouTube, you know, these workout freaking geeks or whatever, these gym rats, you know what I'm saying? And salute to them for putting out that information, you know what I'm saying? But then I started to kind of, you know how YouTube does it. It just throws stuff at you, you know, out of nowhere. And I see this MGTOW thing going on, you know, and I'm watching, you know, these videos where it's like these guys, and a lot of them are to be fair, a lot of them are divorcees, you know, if that's the right word, you know, right? These are guys who have been divorced, and sometimes the system here in America, at least, man, it can really, for a guy who gets divorced, man, you can be left, you know what I'm saying, being in a house one day to living out the back of your car. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because the judge is just gonna freaking, you know, just read the riot act on your ass. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Women mostly get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, exactly. And to what London Taylor's saying, and we talked about this a little bit a couple months ago with the incels. You know, yeah, you're right. With the incels, well, the thing is, what the incels, though, to clarify it, it's involuntarily celibate. So they're basically what I would call they're no-ass getting suspects. You know what I'm saying? To put it nicely. Right, they're saying that the world, right, women don't want to give them sex, you know, for whatever reason. And they don't really blame themselves per se. You know, they I don't know what it is that they blame it on. But with these MGTOW, now what's funny about the whole MGTOW thing, don't get me wrong, if you're a young man, right, you're just moving out of your house, you're either going off to the military, you're going to get an education, you're going to hit the work, you know what I'm saying, the field, right, you're just going to go to work. It may be all right, in my opinion, to go ahead and say, I need to focus, right? Yeah. So maybe I shouldn't necessarily have a girlfriend right now because I need to go hard. I'm trying to establish myself. We just talked about wealth creation, right? And sometimes when you're at the early stages of becoming a man, right, who's trying to make it in the world, it's maybe not, at that time, maybe it's not the right time to start sharing your wealth, you know what I'm saying, necessarily. And this is if the other person cannot add in, right, to that wealth creation that you're trying to do, yeah, maybe it is you know, a good time to say, you know what, let me go at it alone for a while, let me set myself up, let me stack some cheddar, you know what I'm saying, let me build a business, let me get my education. But with these guys though, it's a little bit different. It's out of and you can kind of see from the definition here, right? To be treated like a disposable utility. They feel like women essentially are just using them for their wealth, their power, their seed even. You know, so Chantel, what do you think about this whole thing? You know, and you're a single lady, am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So now your DMs are gonna blow up, so stand by on that. But yeah, so I mean, so no, you're not a WGTOW, right? A woman going their own way. There's no such thing. No. But what do you think about the obviously you're open, you know, right, is it fair to say that you're open to having a relationship? You're not a man hater.
I'm not a man hater whatsoever.
So what's your take, you know, from a woman's perspective? What's your take on these MGTOWs?
MGTOW. So I only just came across the term when you shared a video in the group, and like straight away I just felt like these men were just bitter. They're hating on women, and my thing is that they sound confused, because it's like you hate women but you're not attracted to men, so you're just in this ground zero because you don't know what to do with your life. So now you just have to be on your own, you know. And for me, it's like, okay, as women, there may be things that might agitate men sometimes, irritate men a little bit. Like, you know, women sometimes, you know, we nag, or we might be a little bit too emotional. We might be a little bit too clingy at times. And there's obviously negative traits that we can say about men as well. But overall, and the overriding factor of all of this are the values and the traits and the characteristics that make men wonderful beings, women wonderful beings, and the union for us to come together and sharing that union is the strongest thing, and having that connection and be able to grow and build together. And like, I just feel, yeah, these men, they've probably been used by maybe a bad apple, a bad woman. Maybe they haven't been strong enough to kind of assert themselves in relationships. You know, some of these men have been married and they've been divorced. Perhaps they've been hurt and they don't actually know how to deal with their own emotions. So rather than deal with them and then say, you know what, I'm going to now try and find a woman who captures my heart and who we can actually make a great life with, they've now put up a wall and put up a blockade and just saying, you know, dissing all women now and saying women aren't worth their attention, women aren't worth their money. And it's like, well, these women probably don't want your money, and they probably don't want you because there's something negative about you. There's something troubling about you. There's something that needs to be fixed about you. So I just think this movement is just all about men who are really trying to redefine themselves because they've lost who they are. They're hurt, and quite frankly, they're probably not man enough right now. So they need to become men again, and then they probably could find a decent woman who they could settle with. Because what else are they gonna do? Just sit at home, just diss women every single day, feel sorry for themselves, get together as men and say how bad women are? I just don't get it. I think men should be self-empowered, but don't neglect the fact that you need the woman with you. You need that woman energy with the man, unless you're gay.
I see what you were saying too, and I was listening to that video with the dude, and it sounded like he got with a couple of, well, like he said he was married, and then he got divorced, and I think he got married again, but it sounded like you said he got with some ladies that, you know, was good in the beginning. Like he said, yeah, he was with his high school sweetheart, and, you know, when they went to Georgia, that trip was just like hell. So I think that, you know, like you said, when he said basically the point that he was making was, you know, you're doing all this XYZ, but then when you give a woman your heart, and like he said, it was one guy, I think he was explaining that, like, it was some guy that was talking to this chick, and I guess he was out of town. He was long distance relationship, and the guy was like, yeah, I'm gonna come down there and see you, and on this day, and the chick was like, what you mean, you gonna, I guess, like, give up your overtime, or you're not going to work? You're just going to give all that up just to come see me? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, when you think you're giving your all, or when you're putting your all in and giving your heart, that's when some chicks, like, when they, I guess he was trying to say, like, when some, I think this is for some chicks, not all, like, when they know that they got you all the way in and it's, like, boring, and you give them your all, and they're like, yo, you're lame. Like, you going to miss work to come see me. You ain't like, say if a chick met you because you on your grind all the time, you getting that paper, you doing da-da-da, and then when you show a weaker side by going to be with them instead of like doing what they fell in love with you for, that's what I think he was trying to say. But that's still a lame excuse, because just because you got your heart broke doesn't mean that all women are like that. So he was trying to say it like,
exactly, you can't use an individual circumstance, an individual experience, and then say that all women are like that. So yeah, the guy was saying that the woman was ungrateful because he took time off work to go and see her, and she just went off him straight away. But another woman would have appreciated that gesture and be like, wow, this man thinks so much about me that he's sacrificed, you know, a day's living, a day's work to come and spend time with me. Like, I'm more captured by this man now. I'm more in love with this man. So evidently that woman wasn't the right woman for you because she didn't appreciate the gesture. So you go and find a woman that's right for you that would appreciate that gesture. It doesn't mean you stop doing it. It's almost like, you know, we live in a world now where, you know, chivalry is like all over the place, right? And some men don't know whether they should open a door for a woman or pull out a seat for a woman, for example. Now, if a man does it for a woman and she doesn't show any gratitude or appreciation, cool, you don't do it for that woman again. But it doesn't mean you stop doing it altogether. Like, if your core value is, I'm going to be a gentleman, and regardless, I'm going to open the door for women, for example, keep doing it, because there are women out there that appreciate it.
Yo,
you
Tom,
know, it doesn't
man,
mean you just put it together.
You don't know how to find out if a chick, I mean, you married, you know, we basically married, but what's that G shit? G stuff. Remember Bronx Tale, when the dude, I can't remember the start of the movie, he's like, he was talking to the young dude, he's like, this is how you know if a lady really loves you or she's really the one for you. He's like, this is what you do. You open the door for her on the passenger side, you let her in, and if you're going to the driver's side and she doesn't open the door for you, he's like, you dump her. He's like, you just dump her? He's like, yeah, you remember that? You remember that shit?
Nah, I gotta rewatch
you gotta watch Bronx Tale. That was some G shit. He's like, yo, she don't open the door for you, like lean over and open the door for you when you get in. He's like, you just dump her. And I was like, yo, that's some G.
Do that, though. I wouldn't do that.
You So you saying you would open the door if your man opened the door for you?
No, if I was getting in a car and a man opened the door for me to get in the car, which barely any men do, but say a man did it, I wouldn't get in the car, lean over, and then open the door for the guy. No, I wouldn't think to do that. Sorry.
Oh, you would?
So
so you gonna get dumped, man?
But you know what? I mean, the thing is, salute to you, Melquan. Thanks for joining. Real quick. But you know the thing, that's somewhat of a dated thing, because now with our electronic, you know, door locks, there's no need to reach over. You know what I'm saying?
But he's saying you gotta, you know, like okay,
push the door open.
Yeah, push the door, just like how he opened the door for you. He's like, oh, you could. He's saying that she could at least lean over and push the door. You know, you gotta see it.
Yeah, I gotta see it.
You know, he did have the old school big body. You know, he used to be driving in reverse all the time to back it up to the club and stuff. But yeah, so just to touch on this M Gao Tao thing again. Yo, man, I think that dude just rolled the dice a couple of times and he got a bad deal. And a lot of these men probably did get women that, like, stabbed them in the heart. And then they like, yo, you can't give your heart to these women out here because they're going to turn around and issue on you. And that's where they probably feel like, yo, I'm not giving up my, how you say, sovereignty. Sovereignty. They're not going to give up their sovereignty for nobody. So that means that I'm going to do me. I'm going to get my money. If you going to roll with what I'm doing, then that's what it is. I'm not going to give you all of my heart and all of me, because then I don't want it to get crushed. And then one more 10-second note. So these men remind me of, like, you always hear about a scorned woman, a scorned lady. Like, you know, like that song, when a woman's fed up, that R. Kelly shit. No, we don't subscribe to R. Kelly anymore. Me. Yeah, pee on. I want to piss on you. Yo, so it's like, I think it's just like a scorned man, scorned woman, the same thing. Like, scorned woman, you know, they just like manipulate dudes. They've been hurt so many times. Like they said, like Jay-Z said, what he said?
I got 99 problems.
No, he said, when a good girl's going bad, she going forever, more forever. Man, I gotta live with the fact that you born forever. Shit. That's that shit.
I just think men, I feel like they lack emotional intelligence, like in the sense of, okay, they got their heart broken, perhaps, but at the same time, you know, mend your heart and move on. Don't have your heart broken and now feel like you are completely broken and you shut yourself up from the possibility of actually experiencing love. Like, this is part of love, part of life. Like, in life, You're supposed to experience love to the fullest. You know, there will be heartache along the line as well. You may meet someone who wasn't right for you. So therefore, when they break your heart, your heart was meant to be broken for you to get stronger, not for you to get weaker. These men just sound so weak to me that, you know, this is why I'm not going to say anymore, but I just think these men some of them, they just need to get some therapy or something, because it just doesn't sound like the right trend to be setting for the future. Because if it grows even more, what are we going to have? Like, so many men who are just single because they don't want to face being heartbroken, women who are single because they can't find these men to connect with them emotionally because they won't let their guard down. You know, we need to be stronger in ourselves as people. We need to accept that bad things happen, but great things happen. And sometimes bad things have to happen for great things to manifest as well. Like, we're not all lucky enough to marry like our high school sweetheart. We're not all lucky enough to, you know, fall in love with the first person that catches our eye. Sometimes we have to meet different people along the way until we meet that person.
And what's the famous saying? What's the famous saying?
The famous saying is, you treat a slut like a queen and treat a queen like a slut, and everything will be all right. Now, one of my colleagues told me that years ago.
Nah, they say
I was like, damn, what's your famous saying?
It's not my famous saying. It's better to have loved and lost than to never loved at all.
Man, that shit sound good.
Yeah.
See, Chantel, no, that's that real shit right there. Ish.
So real quick, and you know, I want to get back to something that London Taylor said in the chat room about the incels. And also, I would actually push it a little further with these MGTOWs, these incels, and there's a couple other groups out there. They're really just other versions of what we have now in America, the alt-right. You know what I mean? And now, but I'll tell you what, with this thing concerns me, because now I see that men of color are being targeted with it. You know what I mean? The video that I share, and I didn't share it with you guys in the chat room, but I shared it with Jizo and Chantel before we came on. It's kind of a long video. It's a 14-minute video. But, you know, it is a man of color, you know what I mean, talking about this stuff. And it concerns me because, you know, we're small groups, Latinos, Hispanics, Black people. We're kind of a small groups in these United States. And we don't really have time to be more separate. If anything, like to Chantel's point, we need to grow stronger together. Not, you know what I'm saying, necessarily. And now, again, in the beginning, as a young person, yeah, I agree. Go your own way. Establish yourself. Then meet later on when you're ready. Go for it. You know, come together. But this attitude, I don't really see anything positive coming from it. And I would say, as a man, advice to men early on. And I know there's no young men in the chat room right now, maybe in the podcast listening audience, but you know, I would say early on, when you're in a relationship with a woman, set your boundaries. Let her know that I need this space. You know, I need to be able to go, you know what I'm saying, fishing by myself every once in a while. I need to be able to go in my studio and make beats for hours on end, or rap with my buddies, or do a podcast, you know what I'm saying, because this is important to me. You know what I mean? When it's time for you to do something important, go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? But don't try to take away the little sanctuary that I have, you know what I'm saying? Just because you're married. No, Jizo always calls my office here the man cave, right? Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a little area that I chill out in, you know what I'm saying, when I'm not chilling out with the family. And I think every guy has to have that little corner, you know what I'm saying, and that little alone time, you know, and maybe that would alleviate some of this MGTOW shit. You know, maybe some of these guys are just getting stepped on by their women, you know what I'm saying? And I hear stories from other guys, and I'm just like, damn, man, you're in an ugly situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I can say.
They need to grow some balls, Tom, basically. They need to grow some balls.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Stop being, no, I don't want to say it.
Yeah, grow up here.
Yeah, grow up here. Yeah, so, all right, you know, I wanted to close off on this. Well, I don't know if I necessarily wanted to close off, but I wanted, actually, Jizo, could you get that laptop ready to go? Because I'm going to be playing that audio that we talked about. So, you guys probably by now have heard of the situation, right, where we had this young man, young, you know, he's 29 years old, but Richard Russell, right, he stole a plane from Washington, an airport in Washington, they call it Seattle Tacoma Airport, stole the plane, took off, and you know, eventually crashed it. So, you know, at first when I was looking into this, I was like, okay, it's just another crazy guy, you know what I'm saying, doing some crazy shit in America, right? That's every day. That's every hour on of every day in the United States. Somebody's doing some crazy shit. So not a lot there. You know, there was audio, you know, which I'm going to play a small piece, which is the relevant part of what I want to talk about today. So I listened to the audio. You know, I wanted to see how the air traffic controllers were handling this guy, you know, and what was he saying, you know, and he was saying crazy shit. They were asking him, do you know how to fly a plane? He's like, oh, I played video games. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I know what I'm doing, you know, so you're listening to this guy as he's flying around, you know, planes are being diverted left and right. People don't know if this is a terrorist situation or not. You know what I mean? Because, again, you know, it could have turned into a 9/11 type scenario. That plane was a decent size, not big as a jumbo jet. Yeah, yeah, Cali Connected, salute to you. But, yeah, he went out like, you know, I see a lot of people saying that, but it's like, yo, to me, man, if I ever got to that point where I was depressed, like, I'm not trying to destroy property or kill anybody else just because I'm miserable. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, yeah, fucking... You know, some people are saluting him. Like, yeah, I looked at the, you know, some of the YouTube comments, you know, on one of the videos that I was watching. People, you know, yeah, he's a legend. He's this, he's that. You know, he left, yo, he had, from my understanding, he had 2 kids and a wife. You know what I'm saying? That he left behind. Like,
I ain't saying he a legend just because he flew a plane.
Yeah, he took off in the plane. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he wound up doing a basically a loop. He did a loop-de-loop in that freaking plane. That was a decent size. I thought he was going to crash it right then and there. The shit was headed straight to the water. Like 100 feet above the water, he started to pull back up.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But you know what? And rest in peace to him and to his, you know, and to his family. You know, obviously we need to do more airport security. You know, we need to do more on the mental health side. I imagine someone knew that something was wrong with this guy. But I want you guys to listen, and let me make sure my mixer's ready to play this. Jizo, I want, yeah, you guys can listen to this audio because this is what I really want to talk about.
Hey, you think if I land this successfully, Labs will give me a job as a pilot?
You know, I think they would give you a job doing anything if you could pull this off.
Yeah, right. Nah, I'm a white guy.
Is the audio playing out of that, Jizo? I thought I heard some other audio coming from somewhere.
I didn't hear none of.
All right, maybe you do me a favor. Go ahead and play it again. I know it's a little muffled, so I want to play it again.
Hey, you think if I land this successfully, Labs will give me a job as a pilot?
You know, I think they would give you a job doing anything if you could pull this off.
Yeah, right. Nah, I'm a white guy.
All right, so we heard the audio. Right, and immediately, and like I was telling Chantel, and I don't know if I got a chance to talk to you about it, Jizo. When I heard, that was the most interesting part to me about the whole exchange that he had, you know, with the air traffic controllers. Right? You think I can get a job if? Because he just before he said that he asked another pilot who was in the air who was trying to help him control the plane. Yeah, he's dead. Is he dead? What the fuck you mean? Is he dead? Yeah, he crashed the plane. So you know, so he asked another pilot, "Do you think I could do a backflip in this thing?" And the guy's like, he's like, "I'm not sure, but you know, I think he's like, I don't recommend that you do that. Let's just try to land the plane safely." He was saying something to that effect. Yeah. So, and then that's when he asked the question, "Do you think I'll get a job, you know, with a hold on a second. I think we lost Chantel. Maybe she's back. Chantel?
I'm back.
Okay, good. So, you know, he asked the question. And, of course, the air traffic controller says, yeah, I think, you know, of course, he's bullshitting them, but he knows this guy's suicidal. He's kind of a maniac right now. Yeah, I think they'll give you a job doing anything. Yeah, right, dude, I'm a white guy. Or, yeah, right, I'm a white guy, dude. You know, and that's what got me, it blew me away. And I don't have a lot of miles, you know, flying miles, you know what I'm saying, yeah. Under my belt. I got a decent amount, you know what I'm saying. Obviously, I had to fly to Iraq and back, you know, so we touched several countries. You know, that was a long-ass flight in a big-ass plane. And I've been to California, you know, I've been on a plane, I don't know, maybe 15 times, you know what I'm saying, in my life. And that's not a lie. I know there's, my boss is on a plane, like, you know what I'm saying, multiple times per month, you know, so he would know better than me. But I'll tell you what, the last time I saw a pilot who wasn't white was in that movie with where Denzel was a pilot. I think it was called
I thought you were gonna say Soul Plane.
Yeah, no, yeah. You know, it's funny. Yeah, I could have said Soul Plane. Soul Plane is a little bit before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Denzel had it was called
yeah, I know you're
In
talking
Flight
about,
was
where
the
he had
movie.
that shit upside down.
Right, exactly. He had to invert the plane to
Yeah.
keep it from crashing. That was the last time I saw, and you know, and that's in a fictional context, of course. Go ahead, Chantel.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you make a really good point, because the fact of the matter is there isn't a lot of black pilots. So when there actually is, like, usually social media makes a massive point of it. Like, I remember probably it was last year, there was like a really, really poignant story where there was like a guy who had become a pilot, and then like his dad was on the plane, and then he introduced everyone that was flying to his dad, and you know, just saying how proud he was of his father. And it was just such a nice story. And it's because you don't, and I guess again, it almost, this kind of loops back almost to the first story about representation as well, so that young black kids could think to themselves, I want to be a pilot one day, and know that that's actually in their reach. That they don't have to be born into money or born into a particular class or race. Like, actually, yeah, if you train up hard, if you go down the right path, you can become a pilot if that's what you want to do, and you can become a scientist or an engineer or whatever it is you know you set your heart on. So we need to have that imagery out there as well, so that people know that it's possible.
Right, and with this guy, what's crazy is, you know, right, I'm a white guy, dude. You know, they're not gonna hire me, and you know, as a, you know, and just thinking about, you know, like I said, so anyways, I wind up going to the Bureau of course, because I have to, you know, we got to deal with the data, right? We can't just go off feelings. This is facts over feelings radio here, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we give our opinion, you know what I mean? When an opinion is all you can give, right? So something, there is no hard set definition for some of the stuff that we're talking about. There are, you know what I'm saying? No one's wrong. Let's just say that.
Straight facts.
But in some of this stuff, there is, and let me blow this up for myself so I can read it. But right, and I went ahead and did the math here. So out of all of the aircraft pilots and flight engineers in the United States, you know, 82.5% are white, are white, right? White, and I deducted women, Black or African American, Asian, and you know, Latinos, Hispanic Latinos. So 82% are basically white males. And this guy's sitting there saying, yeah, right, I'm a white guy, I'm not gonna get a job, you know, for the air, you know what I'm saying, at the airliner. And it's just like, come on, dude. And this is the main point that I want to bring up, is that these guys, this racism is actually killing white people, right? Because in this guy's mind, you know, because the reality is he was a baggage handler, and he might have thought that his life was miserable because all he did was, you know, take out bags out of airplanes all day long in the weather, in the rain, this, that, and the third. But who put it in his mind that because he's a white guy, he could never move up in that airline, right? I know who did it, and I call them the white grievance industrial complex, right? So this is Rush Limbaugh. This is Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly's not on air anymore, but he still has this little podcast, you know what I'm saying, where he basically tells his mostly white male viewers that they are oppressed, that they're the ones that are oppressing this country now. You know what I mean?
They're like spoiled kids, man. Like, damn.
You know, I'm glad that you said that, because first, let's come up with an operational definition for what oppression means to guys. And I'm not saying this guy may have had mental. I don't want to put this on Richard Russell for sure.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying. But he definitely displayed in the last moments of his life. He showed what I'm talking about here. You know, and what oppression means to these guys is equality. So when we all become equal, they are now oppressed, because they're so used to they've been told that they're the cream of the crop. This country's theirs, the culture is theirs, the greatness of America belongs to them. And now that they see, you know what I'm saying, the equality is starting to, and we have a long way to go, don't get me wrong, you know what I mean? But and I think Barack Obama, like I said, I still call it the 9/11 to racist in America. That was just a moment when they woke up, they were like, holy fuck, what just happened?
Yo,
you know what I
mean? You still cold?
Yeah, I'm cool. You cold?
Yeah,
Jizo's cold, so
I'm gonna save you some money.
I gotta stop to turn the AC off.
Hell, I feel like an Eskimo.
Put on a sweater, man. Yeah, so you know, so this guy, so he's got these guys like Rush Limbaugh telling them that they're under attack, right? Yeah. And Rush Limbaugh. What's funny is Rush Limbaugh and O'Reilly have made tens of millions, if not at least 100 million each, telling white people that they are at war in this country falsely. And the problem is the numbers don't bear out. The numbers don't bear. Look at the representation as going to Rich Russell and what we need. You know what's funny to these people? I'm kind of putting it out there. When we hear some of our white brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, talk this shit, we need to, as people of color, we need to take them in and say, brother, I hear what you're saying. Sister, I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong. And I'm uniquely qualified to tell you that you're wrong. Because we are part, we're part of the oppressed people, the real oppressed people. And if you don't believe me, come with me to my neighborhood. And I'm not saying we all live in the hood either. You know what I'm saying? We could take them to the real economically depressed areas. You know what I mean? We could take them to the office buildings, the financial sectors of our towns. And so how many black people do you see working here right now? Right? You know, we can show, as a matter of fact, I got a couple more graphics. Stand by here. I got to find my stuff now. All right. Maybe we could show them this graphic, right? Where how black people, basically 3 times representation in prison, right? U.S. share of black people, 12%. But yet 33% of the people in prison are black, Hispanic. Not as much, but definitely represented in prison. And of course, what's the main retort that we're going to get? You know what I mean? Oh, it's because you guys are committing all the crime. No, the law enforcement is on our ass. That's the problem. If they were to get on white people's asses, you know what I'm saying, as much as they are riding us all the time, looking to shake us down, trust me, you could fill those prisons up real quick with white people.
For shizzle.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe we could show, next time we hear one of them say, oh, we're the oppressed one. Yeah, right, dude, I'm a white guy. Maybe we could show them something like this. Maybe we'll take them to a damn prison so they could see what's going on. Maybe we'll show them historically how since 1954 to 2013, using this chart from the Pew Research Center, which is a conservative think tank, by the way, how black unemployment is almost double throughout, looking at this time period. It's almost double that of white people historically, right? So you take it to 54, when white unemployment was at 5%, black unemployment was at 9.9, basically 10%. Fast forward to 83, white unemployment 8.4, black unemployment 20%.
Damn.
Move up to 2013, unemployment for white people 6.7, black people 13.4. Always double.
Yeah.
So, to the riches of the world, and may he rest in peace, but to the living riches of the world, we need to tell them, like, look, this oppression that you're feeling, and I'm not saying that there aren't oppressed white. I'm not saying that there are not oppressed white people in this country. What's funny is that the reality is that they're being oppressed by other white people. Usually, the wealthier amongst them are the ones that are oppressing them. It isn't black, Latino, Asian, and the Native American that's oppressing them. It's people just like them, but just that are wealthier.
They keep throwing that what's that old saying, what's that rule that when minorities used to get jobs over white people back in the day?
Oh, sure, they love to throw that out there. Affirmative action. It wasn't just a Nas song, a cool Nas. Actually, that's one of my favorite songs on that joint. Ding, 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 ding. Anyways,
that shit. And,
so. Right, they come up with that, oh, you just got the job because of affirmative action. Actually, I was reading an article about pilots specifically, that because there was a time where in the airline industry, the courts had to come up, you know what I mean? They had to come up with there was a decree that was made that they really need to try to diversify. So the pilots used to have this thing. So if they saw a black pilot, a female pilot, you know what I mean, a minority pilot, they would say, oh, he's a decree hire, meaning that it's because of the court's decree, that was made at the time. I forget, this might have been in the 80s. So that's how they basically saying, you wouldn't be here, right, if not for the decree, if not for affirmative action. Never mind that, you can actually fly the damn plane. You know what I'm saying? We historically, we have, look what happened with the Tuskegee Airmen. See, and this is what it boils down to, guys, at the end of the day. They don't want to let us in because when we get in, we're going to knock it out the park, like the Tuskegee Airmen. You know what I'm saying? And then, what's funny, and then nothing. Then we just get to compete with the rest of the field, which is what America is supposed to be about. You know what I mean? But they don't want that. Competition is their enemy. Equality is their enemy. And the facts just prove it.
Yeah, you know, I remember when you and Gene was talking about something on the couch talking. It was basically something like where we're talking about right now, how like, you know, it's just like I was saying earlier, it's like a spoiled kid not getting what they want, and then you know you see another kid probably getting like the same thing you get, and you're like, well, why is he getting it? Like okay, yeah, now I remember what you and Gene was talking about, like reparations. So you think all the stuff that, now I'm not really talking about Latinos, but you know, I'm more talking about blacks here because of slavery and stuff. You
DOS, right? Descendant of slave.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm just using an Yvette Carnell term that actually Chantel helped put me. I try to define the shit because she uses DOS so much, but because there is a fracture between, you know, black people from Africa, right, versus the African American. And, you know. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, you're saying that, okay, we don't deserve these jobs that we applying for because and that we get because of, or we get them is because of our skin color. Like one thing we damn if we do, we damn if we don't. You know, we get the job. You saying it because of affirmative action or something like that, you know, and then like we can't get what's due to us because basically y'all didn't go through what we went to come to this country. So now that we trying to get, you know, a fair shake, it's always some, oh, you got this because of X, Y, Z. Like you ain't, I don't care if it's ancestors. Y'all didn't have to go through, and believe it or not, it still affects like people. Okay, yeah, of course we're not slaves. It's a different form of slavery, but we're still going through the oppression and other, like Tom was saying, there's other stuff that's going on that people that, you know, like they said, we was talking about wealth. You know, if your grandmother was poor, 9 out of 10 times you're going to be poor unless you really turn it around in the 20, 30 years. You know, like a lot of these people that are wealthy, they get handed the inheritance. It gets handed down from generation to generation. You know, like if your family is poor for generations, you have to do something besides just get an education. I mean, you could get an education and live modestly, but it's not saying that you're going to be rich or wealthy. And not saying you have to be rich or wealthy, but people in America, I'm just going to say, like, because we're talking about this guy that crashed the plane.
Rich Russell, yeah.
Rich Russell. Not saying just people like him, but not saying him per se, but basically Caucasian in America, they don't want people to even have, like, if they're making a job with 50, that's making 50 or 100,000, they want you to have a job that's making 20 to 50. They don't want you on their level.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? They don't want you on their level. They're thinking that they're supposed to be better than you no matter what you do. And if you got the skills to, like you said, we get in there and knock them out the park, they don't even want to give you a chance because they know that something, oh, this guy got it because, no, motherfucker, because you ain't. Oh, you know, I'm cursing.
Yeah. So, so 747, first one.
Yeah, 747.
No, but a lot of them are what we call zero-sum gamers, right? What is the zero-sum game, right? The zero-sum game theory basically says that there's a fixed amount of, let's call it wealth in this country, right? So that's what zero-sum game theory, there's a fixed amount of wealth, meaning that every time someone takes a piece of that pie, there's less for everyone, right? That's how a pie works.
Like,
you know?
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is, I don't know. You're the Bitcoin experts. I'll leave it to you. But, so the thing is, and the problem is that a lot of times with our wealth, it necessarily, at least with American wealth or the wealth that America contains, it's not, you can actually create wealth. You know what I mean? Look at Zuckerberg created wealth from basically shit that we already had here in the United States. Yeah. He basically took the internet highway and made wealth out of it. So he didn't make anything new. He used what was already here to create even more wealth. You know, and 20 years down the line, someone will create something that was based off of that he got an idea from something he thought about on Facebook, and he'll create another company. You know what I mean? But guess what? Facebook will still be $1 billion company. All these other companies that come after Facebook are not going to chip away necessarily. Now, I'm not saying that they can't take away money, but not necessarily. So with these zero-sum gamers out here in the world, they feel that, well, wait a minute, if that black man has a job that pays him $100,000, he's taking away from me, right? And if I don't have a job that's paying me $100,000, he must be getting, right? If I'm making 80, it's because he took, 40 or 20 from me. You know, that's how they look at money. They look at money that like it's fixed, and it's not. you know what? I'm a Latino guy. I can make 100 racks. Jizo can make 100 racks. Freaking, there's plenty of people. A whole bunch of white people can make 100. We could just make that money. You know, so it isn't necessary. See, they treat it like gold. The reality, like gold and diamonds. There's a certain amount of gold and diamonds that are on this planet, and there aren't any more. There isn't any more gold. Well, I shouldn't say what diamonds are created, right, through heat and pressure. Fossilized crap, all this, that, and the third. I'm not a scientist. So I'm not going to get into it. But with gold, right, there's a set amount of gold on this planet. Once someone gets it all, say if someone could get it all, that's it. That person has it all. Ain't no more. But money is different. Currency is different. We can create that. That's man-made. You know what I mean? So, so they have, their minds are kind of trapped in a very, it's a very dated way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? Almost like mercantilism. If you for anyone who knows about mercantilism, which is basically precedes capitalism. If you guys ever read, I never read his book, Sam Smith. They call him the father of capitalism. But what came before him was mercantilism, which is basically stacking chips. That's how you gain wealth. Nowadays, you don't make wealth by doing that. You got to make your money make money. You know what I'm saying? So you don't just stack it. You got to do something with it. Chantel?
I think you said it all, Tom, to be honest.
All right. I just wanted to, because
honestly, I've been listening so intently to what you know, your articulation of that particular topic completely. Yeah, we have to have wealth, make wealth, money moves as well. I think we just need to remember that money moves, and it's not about just taking from someone else, like, and making someone else deprived. Like you say, we can all build, we can all have wealth, and we can all live in prosperity to a level. There's so many people who are sitting on ridiculous amounts of money, and then there's the very poor, and it just needs to be a little bit more balance in wealth so that everyone has a chance to eat. Everyone has a chance to embrace stuff because of the money and the assets that they have. It shouldn't just be stuck with, you know, the very small percentage of people. That's unfair. You know, we live in an unfair society. So it's just a better distribution, really.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hang it up there because I need to go and try to get my 100 racks. You know what I'm saying? Right now I'm sitting at 50 for the year. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get another 50. You know what I mean? So I could freaking
give me some money.
Jeez, I'm gonna put you on, man. I'm gonna have you watching a television screen for 10 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Chantel gonna be doing when she come over here in the flight. You might have to pick up and pick it to your job, like you said.
Chantel, the count. We gotta start. I'm gonna create a freaking countdown for Chantel's arrival. You know what I'm saying? We already making plans. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be out in the city too. Hopefully maybe we'll set something up, man. You know, maybe we could run into the Hun gang out there. I know Chantel wants to put us on a cruise right off the rip. She wants to have us going down what is that going down the Hudson?
Yeah, she wanted to cruise either the East River or the Hudson River.
Okay, so you might see us on Hudson. As a matter of fact, I heard we're gonna have some other podcasting celebrities on that ship, that boat.
Oh shit!
You know what I'm saying? Freaking that you guys may know out there. But anyways, so yeah, looking forward to it. We're gonna be out there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to connect. You know, I know we missed the last. You guys probably didn't know, but there was a barbecue, another one. You know, we missed that one this Saturday. But we got to make this, whatever the next event is, we got to make it for sure. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to meet the people, and because we really appreciate the time that you give us. You know what I mean? And I would love to talk to you guys, you know, one-on-one or all together and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna bring a bottle of cognac from Costco. Yo, Costco got the cognac. Yo, crazy, the Kirkland cognac. I'll bring a bottle of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we'll have a good time. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I gotta get in my car in like 5 minutes. Jizo, voice of the people.
We out.
Chantel.
See you next week, everyone. Thanks for listening.
All right, thanks, guys.
Peace.
Peace.